So here's Sharpie in his second prelim test at Rocking Horse, and working on being very straight down the center line. It's an easy way to get your points, and he's very good at staying in between my leg and hand. And then we're going to come through the turn, prepare for a turn. I'm going to try to really half halt here and go for my lengthening trot. And he's still developing this movement, so it's key for me to kind of show the transitions at the beginning, at the end, because he doesn't have a big one yet. But he's getting there. So now I turn, and I lost his haunches right there just a smidgen to prepare him for the leg yield. And the leg yield, this is his harder side, so you can see he kind of wavers a little bit. It doesn't quite stay as consistent as I would like. He's very good for his canter transition. And so now we have the medium canter at C. And he was just a little tight in this test, which so I wasn't able to really push him for my medium canters. I had to be a little conservative there. But he's being very obedient. It's just a little bit tighter than he normally is. So for his counter canter loop, he did very good. He's getting much stronger now to where I don't feel like I'm skating necessarily in an ice rink or about to topple over when I do my counter canters. Cross the diagonal to our trot canter transition right at X. I took a second to prepare him for the canter transition. So I had a couple more trot steps than I would like, but I can shave those off for the next one. And again, we do our medium canter. Again, it's there. I show a little one, but for the bigger points, I needed to kind of push. But if I did, it would have pushed him past his kind of balance point right now. Come across the diagonal for the counter canter loop. Did that very well. Making sure he stays balanced with lots of half halts, trying to get him in my corners. And again, across the diagonal to do just the trot transition at X. It was maybe a smidge late. And trying to go through the next corner to prepare for a halt. Halted up square, but he was a little out behind. So I wasn't able to get my max points there. And the backup was fairly decent. He's pretty obedient about that. And he has a great walk, but where you can see a little bit of the tightness is he just doesn't want to stick his nose out and swing through his neck. So I've got him really swinging through his body. But again, this is the free walk, so I really needed him to poke his nose out to get that 8. But that's okay. You just sometimes have to ride the horse you have in the ring. Put them together for the working walk. Picking up our trot. This can happen kind of quickly because you've gone from the walk to the trot and you go down the center line, do your leg yield. So for the first step, I kind of missed it, but then he really puts in a much more consistent leg yield this way. This is definitely his stronger side. And now we have to do a stretchy trot serpentine. And again, you can see it's not bad, but I just felt like if I was to drop the reins, he kind of wanted to speed up a little bit because he was tight. So I had to do lots of half halts and kind of keep him in a little bit tighter frame than I would have liked, because normally when he's super relaxed, he'll just take his nose all the way down to the floor. But that's all right. Again, come down the center line, make sure he's straight. Sometimes they can anticipate the leg yield some. And then we come into our halt, which was a smidge crooked, but overall I was happy with his test. Coming into the show jump, he's jumping has really improved from last season. And so really what I've been working on is the quality of his canter, making sure that I have him balanced on the hind end. I really have to make sure with Sharpie that my body is back over my hips coming to the fence, so that allows him the space to bring his front end up. You see he has no problems with liver pulls. Very, very brave horse. And he did well there coming through the corner past the in gate. And again, making sure he's rocking back on the hind end, so he has time to get the front end out of the way. He did really good coming to this in and out. To this yellow Oxford, jumped that really well. And then I was able to take the inside turn. Again, those inside turns help me keep him packaged. And so now we have a really long way to go until another in and out. And I made the mistake of not really packaging him right here. So he was a little bit on the forehand. His balance was a little bit out. And so that meant that I caught that front rail, which was unfortunate because he had a really nice round. Now moving on to cross country. Such a brave horse. I'm coming to the coffin, which you can't even tell that he jumped a ditch before that table. So again, the biggest thing with Sharpie is really focusing on his balance. And he's getting stronger and stronger and more educated each time we go around. So now I'm coming to the log water. And I don't get the best shot in, but you can see he's really clever with his feet. No worries, just picks him up, jumps right in. Make sure my shoulders are back over my hips coming out of the water, and he did that great. And he has a really good gallop, but you'll see sometimes I have to remind him to keep his head up and to not just gallop with his head down on the ground. And he jumps this one beautifully right out of stride. And generally he's a very good boy about listening. With this being his second prelim, he was even better. Even though I still had to remind him about his balance, he was still more aware when he was coming to a fence to kind of check himself on his own. But here I had to really remind him because we were coming to a pretty big table to make sure that he was on his hind end and not on his shoulders. And that's also what makes him a quick horse, because he is pretty good about listening. I'm not having to make too many adjustments, and he's pretty quick across the ground. Makes light work of that angle combination. And I'm just really proud of how this horse has developed coming around as a prelim horse. Put in a really solid round this weekend, and he was able to make nice inside the time for a good confident round.
Done, buddy. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah, well done, Sharps. Such a good boy. Well done. Much better. Even better this time. Yeah. Starting to figure it out, buddy. Well done, bub. Good boy, Sharps.